Yeah, so strap on your waders because we're about to, go get waist deep in some shit. Um,
Why don't
well,
we start with
okay.
your?
I'm
Why don't
sorry.
we start with you, Andy? Why don't we start with your topic, Andy?
Okay. Yeah. Uh, Not really gonna get too, into the details about this story because this recently just came into this just came recently into my attention, and what is it? Uh, there's this little girl, like 14 years old, and she's been getting a lot of attention lately because of some of the things that she's been saying, and to be honest, they're a bit spicy. They're a bit spicy, um, right? She's been critical of she's been critical of a certain Abrahamic religion, and also of censorship of certain social media companies,
Which I think is fair.
right?
The things that concern, the main thing that concerns me is that she's 14 years old for one, and it's
Right,
like
right,
it,
yeah, I was gonna get to addressing that, but like Robert said, she's 14 years old, and being so young and weighing into this pool, the pool that arguably me and Robert occupy as well. We're just not known. We're just not known, even though we could have spicy takes and talk shit as well.
but we're
Uh,
also grown men.
yes, but but we're also grown men, so whatever flack that we do get or eventually will get, we're grown men, we're adults, and we knew what we signed up for, when we opened our mouths. But this young girl, she's still in high school, and after doing, after coming out the way she has, kind of like with both barrels, the likelihood of her having any semblance of quote unquote normal life is uh, 0 to 0 at this point.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, completely. It's vapors. Um, Especially with her, she actually recently went on like some pretty well-known either right or like libertarian podcasts. Like one of them being Red Ice, and
Wow.
then the other Alex Jones.
Also, very wow. Okay.
Right? Yeah. And yeah, so I just wanted to bring this up and talk about it for just a quick second because there's already because of her kind of shit posting spicy takes. There's already a campaign to kind of to deperson her off the internet, and it just goes. It just again, this incident just reveals the hypocrisy that exists, in the current political climate. Go back, just go back like to earlier this year with Roseanne and her like Ambien influenced tweet, and she was gone. She was, they got her to sign away her show and gave her the boot. Even after she apologized and after multiple apologies, there was no forgiveness. But then again, again around the same time, you have tweets from James Gunn that stretch like years, talking about molesting children or raping children or what have you, and he was he was kicked, he was fired from his position as director for Guardians of the Galaxy, but then after a couple months he made some sort of apology, and Disney says all is forgiven. You're back you're back on as director. And so again, similarly, we have this young girl. She doesn't hold it to any of the prevailing leftist orthodoxy, and she's immediately cast as a villain, as someone to be depersoned, to not be allowed to speak. And yet you have on the left you have figures like those two boys who do drag shows, and and do pride parades, and get and dance at gay bars at 2 o'clock in the morning. um,
Some horrific
and they get showered with attention. I mean, like, I think one, and I believe one of them got to be on mainstream morning a news show. I think Good Morning America.
Yeah, it was Good Morning America.
And so, and I mean, like, I think one of the kids, like, I think people actually called in CPS, and and had CPS investigate the mother for abuse.
Yeah, I would. That's
so
I think that's one of the few legitimate reasons that these people should be called.
Exactly. But of course, like, they didn't find any evidence of abuse, other than her child, dancing on a pole at 2 a.m. at a gay bar with grown ass men throwing dollar bills at her son.
Perfectly normal.
Perfectly normal. Nothing to see here, folks. Just move it along. Move it along.
No, boys will be boys.
Right?
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, and I mean, and so, why is it that these boys who dress in drag, and one and and you know uh, you know dance for grown men, and and oh yeah, there's that one there's that kid where he was doing some sort of photo shoot, and there's like him like in his like drag regalia, and then there was a guy like naked, like he had a sock on his balls and stuff, but it was like this, he was standing next to a naked man.
Yikes.
But I mean, again, this just and so back to this 14-year-old girl, Soph, because like she goes against um, the established talking points, or whatever, she has to be silenced.
Well, the thing that that worries me a little bit, and because as you said, her life's never going to be normal again, especially if she continues down the route that she's going with as far as what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing is, like, when you're that age, the understanding the how to let stuff kind of roll off your back, not to take to have a thick skin, that gets developed over time. I know it took me. Well, I mean, it didn't take me all that long, but I mean, it's like, as far as like, I developed one pretty early. But there's some, especially in today's climate, it's hard we have kind of
right. I know it's like nowadays, like it's it doesn't seem like kids nowadays even are capable of growing thicker skin, because they're never subjected to anything that might hurt them or offend them.
Well, and here's and I'm bringing up a sore subject for you, but like when we were talking about the doing our review of 13 Reasons Why, I brought up the point that when it comes to kids, especially at that age and in this climate, the world is more or less black and white. It's either this way or that way. There's no gray. It's harder. you're trying to learn to develop a thicker skin, although there's a lot of people that just don't get one ever. So everything, paper sword is gonna, stab them through the heart. Um, and with her being 14 and putting herself in this arena, especially on the side that there's all the media and the social media sites are essentially trying to destroy or dox or kill off. That's kind of tough for a 14-year-old. Now, if she can take it, then all the power to her, because maybe I might not like necessarily the way that she's going about it. I don't know if I would say it quite like that, but I don't technically disagree with her.
Right. But I mean, I guess this brings up my next point is that you know I don't think that that she should be used as a pawn, for the right any more than like
No,
those two cross-dressing boys should be pawns for the left. And and again, like it's one thing that if people come and attack you and me, we're grown adults. We understand we understand what the ramifications are for us for speaking out against the the leftist orthodoxy or what have you. Um, but it's also but then like also to have like establishment figures kind of hiding behind this girl. It was like this. It was the same thing. For that based Parkland kid, Kyle Kashev, I believe it was.
yeah,
When he started coming out and kind of countering what David Hogg and Emma Gonzalez and their ilk was doing. I was like, it's important for this kid to be heard. It's important for this kid to speak, but you know, I hope that he doesn't. I hope he doesn't just become like another human shield that the right can use.
with in with Kyle Kashuv, because I actually followed him on Twitter after that the whole all of that started going down,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really feel like he's necessarily been a tool of the right per se. And then
Right, but then also I don't want I don't want like establishment figures to hide behind them either, and like kind of
no. But it's I think when it comes to younger people like that, and I think after going through listen, if you're even though you're young, you can still be if you thought things through and you have some sort of argument, um I'm willing to listen in a sense, but like it's kind of weird when it's kids, this feels like a what we're dealing with nowadays. It's a battlefield,
right.
and
I just don't want kids like Soph or even on the other side like that Desmond is amazing kid or Lactatia. I don't want them to be. I don't want them to become proxy warriors.
right, and it's just like I
Because
don't
the left, because
want
that's all the left does. As far back as you can think, like they start. If you, I think I was thinking about it, and you can actually track it because first, the Democrats they use the blacks, and then like in like the 70s and the 80s they used like the Hispanics, and like
yep.
in the 90s and then like the 2000s it was the gays, and like now it's the trans. Like, but every single time like they it's like the patterns. Like they use them and then they throw them away for the next hot thing.
Yeah, it's and like when it's who knows what the next thing is, but yeah,
Right.
It's more of like, oh, here's a useful toy, and oh well, now it's not useful for us anymore, so we're gonna just throw it away. And because the thing is, they don't actually give a shit about any of these people,
right?
or
I mean, why do you during the early 2000s? Why do you think they bailed so hard on like Hispanics and blacks? Like at least in
well, and
California, because of the Prop 8 vote, about gay marriage, and how it didn't pass, and then because and it was because Hispanic and black communities, they aren't
don't
for
like it.
gays. They don't think that that's right. And so
Right.
like to punish them, they're like, oh no, bad minorities, bad minorities.
Well, and that's where you're starting to see now, especially now, where I think they're playing up the kind of the where they'll see certain minorities like, oh, you believe in the leftist agenda? Well, come on, come on, we'll welcome you with open arms. But anytime anyone speaks out, kind of even slightly against some of the leftist ideas, like obviously, Candace Owens has become very conservative. Kanye West in his own way has kind of come somewhat to the center or right at least.
Right.
And
Yeah, I
it's like,
mean,
oh
like, yeah,
well,
he's at least come to
they're
the center.
crazy Uncle Toms. They're they're terrible human beings. Or you have guys like Milo Yiannopoulos, where who is kind of a crazy over the top individual himself, but he's a gay man, and they hate him.
Right, because he's going against
And
the narrative.
not only
Like,
is he a
like
gay
no
man,
gay
he's
man.
married to a black guy. So,
Yeah, it's like
so
that
it's like,
because Milo's going against the narrative because he's gay. He's like, oh, if you're gay, you can't be a Republican. So it's kind of like that joke on The Simpsons where Bart and Lisa, they're chasing down like this pink,
the pink elephant
yeah, the
balloon.
pink elephant, and then like they happen upon a meeting of gay Republicans.
Oh my gosh!
And then
It's
like
like
they
a
gave
gay
him like
Republican.
a bumper sticker, and it said like 2040 and something. They're like, oh, we're realistic.
Yeah, that's right. That was that was a good episode. I forgot about that bit for a second.
Yeah, it's funny because more and more every single time that I think about The Simpsons, the more I'm starting to believe that theory that Mac Groening is as a time traveler,
It's possible.
right?
They predicted that Trump would be president.
Right, and he did the announcement was exactly how The Simpsons depicted it. Like Trump
Yeah,
coming down the escalator,
it was exactly
right, with
the
the
same way.
same kind of signage,
It
everything.
was insane.
But we digress.
But yeah, no, I honestly don't think either side should. Well, especially because the left does it. I really think that we should refrain from using kids, or at least as far as kind of using them like shields, or kind of like, oh, let's use them for our own.
Right, it's like, oh, this kid is saying like things that no one else is saying, or at least or at least I should be saying, but I'm not gonna. So let's put them out in the front. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that like it's bad that we have kids that think in a conservative way, because I keep hearing that this current generation, whatever Gen Z or whatever the fuck it's called,
Mm-hmm.
is probably going to be one of the more conservative generations that we
Right. Maybe not in
have.
terms of like more like morality, like not they're not all of a sudden going to become Christians. Although I have
No,
been hearing some interesting things about how that religion is making a comeback,
it is.
but more in terms of like the kind of like practical like values of like conservatism.
Yeah, and I think that's uh so like that's a good thing.
Right. It's very
But I don't think
encouraging. It's very
but like
encouraging.
we should not we definitely should not use them as pawns. Yeah, like you said, it's just let's not do what the left does just because we always call them out on it. So let's not let us do that same thing. So I don't want to use the this young girl as a pawn. It's like I said, I don't necessarily disagree with what she's saying,
Hmm.
but I'm not gonna hide behind her. If anything, we should protect them.
Right. That being said, I would not be against using her to point out the hypocrisy of the left.
That I'm fine with.
Yeah, not like I wouldn't like directly. I wouldn't like be like line up behind her and let her take like the hits. As we
Yeah, no,
advance, but I'd just be like, hey, you're pissed off about this little girl, but if she came out with a video saying I hate Trump or fuck Trump, then she'd be plastered all over daytime talk shows.
she'd be on The View.
Yeah,
She'd
she'd be on The
be
View. She'd be yeah, she'd be on all mainstream networks.
yeah. It's yeah, really just I don't know what to think about that. I was it because I first heard about this starting like last week,
Hmm.
um, and I didn't actually like see her videos initially. The only reason I heard about this girl was because Owen Benjamin, I guess, was talking about her a little
Right.
bit.
He opined, and he yeah, I saw that, and he pretty much has the same stance as us.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw it like that someone I guess like asked him about her and like he
Hmm.
was talking about like what they were talking about like what the things that she was talking about and well it's I didn't finish it but yeah that's a good thing that we're kind of on the same page at least that we shouldn't use these kids as pawns.
Hmm. Word.
So yeah, I still really don't know what to really think about the that whole thing and hopefully her going through all this it doesn't fuck up her life.
Agreed. Agreed. So, Soap, if you're out there, and if you come across this by accident, uh, you know, you know, keep your head down and watch your six.
Yeah, seriously.